through the game and after the game with all the ups and downs that Sunday brought?
I mean, the game, it's not to say like as to be expected, but it's the NFL, and stuff's going to happen throughout the course of games. I thought it was nice to get off to a good start, like we did. But even in that, like the second drive, we get a 10-yard loss on a first down play, and we battled back and overcame and ended up scoring on that drive. So, it's not like, you look back at it and you're like, wow, that was a roller coaster game. But, when you're in it, like you're just trying to, hey, these are the answers. This is what we need to get done. And I think that our guys did a nice job of that. So, it was Carson. The conversations were just really about what the defense was showing us, kind of what our guys were doing, and then what the plan was going to be going forward, and how we were going to attack their defense going forward. And we didn't get caught up in the emotions of even like the fast start, and then obviously the back-to-back turnovers, and our guys were great at halftime. I mean, we felt like we should have had a bigger lead at halftime. Unfortunately, Curtis fumbled where we had a chance. We were in field goal range at that point, and to get three, maybe even a touchdown. So, but we were confident in our ability to move the ball and then ultimately score. And I think the conversations were just really all football based.
Scott, you had a pretty creative game plan. There was the one play where you had the sort of the four receivers to the side with JD and the diamond.
We did that last year and the year before too. I know that. I know all of a sudden,
I know.
we won a game, I guess, and all of a sudden it's like it's a big deal. But we did that before, so I don't know.
Well, I was going to say, like, what, for any part of the play, like, how much was, I guess to your point, how much was it just like things you've already done versus with the new personnel, with the receivers and Carson, you were able to go to different parts of the playbook?
Yeah, I mean, I think it is. It's stuff that we've done. We've also built off other things that we've done. We've showed that look. It was a little bit different route combination. You know what I mean? We've shown some different motions. We haven't handed it to a receiver as much as we did with Curtis. He's a unique player. He allows you to do some different things like that. But we did, we had him for a couple games last year, did a couple things like that with him. But yeah, there were some things that we like to do. Like I said, guys, last week, I got a lot of faith in our players. They come in, they do a great job, and they are talented guys, and they can do some different stuff. So what I just try to do is put them in the best position possible to showcase their talents. And that's, as a coaching staff, what we try to do, and they did a nice job of executing the plan.
Clearly, Jahan had a good game in his first NFL game. But what's something, as you watched it, that, like, the next step off of just this game, something he needs to build on that you saw?
I think it's not nothing necessarily like the next step for him, but there's going to be games where, I mean, he had 3 catches, and 2 of them were touchdowns. There's going to be games where the ball's going to end up going to him more. Curtis had 8 catches. Their style of defense, they kind of stay back and make you take some underneath stuff, and you got to pick and choose your down the field shots. That's why Curtis and AG, they had the most catches, because that's the stuff that they were giving us, and you're going to get yards after catch. And I think Carson did a nice job of taking that. So I think you're going to see more production from Terry at times. You're going to see more production from Jahan. Logan was huge at the end on those third downs. I mean, those were as big of plays in the game that we had, and that's what this offense is supposed to look like. And what we're trying to build here is the ball gets spread around to different guys.
When you talk about the style of defense, the Lions play completely different style, a lot of press, all that. So what are the challenges for that group this week, the receivers and all that?
There'll be different things. I mean, as far as like winning one-on-one matchups, again, you don't know. They've been multiple at times with the defenses they like to play, but a lot of it does come down to, hey, you just beating your man as opposed to like finding a spot in the zone, and not necessarily just against the Lions, but just going forward. There's going to be team opportunities for that, and we saw some man from Jacksonville as well. That just wasn't, that's not really their overall style.
And then when you have the talent that you guys do, as a quarterback, how do you balance running the offense versus just trying to do too many things?
Yeah, that just comes down to the game plan during the week. We only have a certain amount of time. We only have a certain amount of practice reps. So you just make the decisions based off of, hey, you got a long list of plays. We always have way too much than we actually need, but you kind of, as the week goes on, you kind of figure out, okay, this is the plan. This is how we're going to counterbalance, the plays we have, and then the ones that maybe aren't the front line on the game plan, they're there just in case maybe you get something that you weren't expecting, and you can always reference back to it during the game.
So generally, when you go into a game, how many brand new plays do you typically go in with?
I don't know. I mean, it's very small as far as brand new plays. It's really how you define a brand new play. Like, it's the same. Sometimes it'll be the exact same play, but we maybe get to it out of a little bit different formation. So technically, yeah, I guess that's a new play. But like, we run a lot of the same concepts. We just get to them, a lot of different ways. But we'll introduce some new concepts or tweak concepts that we have, or try to counter things that maybe we've shown before. And then there's times that we'll scheme stuff up specifically for a certain defense. But we don't just it's all stuff. If we do it, we have it in practice, or like maybe it's something that we haven't done a lot of this year, but we've done it in years past. Now for these guys, it's new, but a lot of the guys there's a back, or maybe Carson's done it, but maybe he's done it somewhere else. But so it's hard to put a true. I don't have like a set number. We just try to do whatever we think's going to work.
Yeah. And then with Antonio, getting him out in space more, is that something that was emphasized for this season, given all the other playmakers you have, or was that the hope all along, and you just were dealing with injuries and different personnel with him?
Yeah, I think a little bit of both. I think Antonio. I mean, he is now, and he had to be the guy that played running back and carried the load and was in that role. And there's a mental and physical load that goes with that. So then to ask him to do all these other things, I mean, that's a lot. So I think as he's matured as a player, being in year 3, he's able to carry more, mentally and physically, and I think that's where you're seeing a little bit more of this stuff, and some of the stuff we've done with him before. It just popped up in this game, and came up well for him. Obviously, getting 130 total yards.
In the 2+ seasons that you've been here, when you went back and watched this tape, did that feel like the most? This is what this offense is supposed to look like?
I don't know. I mean, I haven't thought about that. Now you say that, maybe that's the case. I was happy with the way our guys played. I mean, I'll say that. We got a long way to go. I think we can really be a lot better even than what we were. We left some stuff out there. Everybody had their share in that. But like I said, starting fast and finishing strong, that was outstanding. Now the middle of it, we can't turn the ball over 3 times. There was a stat I saw. This organization, this is the first time in 34 games that they've had won with 3 or more turnovers. So you're not going to win a lot of games doing that. Now it's a testament to our guys that we were able to make enough plays to do that, and to the defense for stopping them and not not letting them score more than whatever scored 22. But we got to clean that part of it up, or it doesn't matter how many cool creative plays or good things that we do. It's not going to be a happy ending.
And what did you think of Carson's patience taking those underneath routes at the rate that he did?
I thought he was great. I thought he was outstanding. I thought for the most part, he made the right decision on the plays. I think obviously there were some times that it didn't work out, but. I thought he had an outstanding first game. Anytime you throw 4 touchdown passes, it's a pretty good deal. But I think he'll even keep getting more comfortable and keep getting better.
With being down on the sideline, did you think that was maybe helpful in a game where you have such a lull in the middle and you need to try and correct things?
Yeah, I think so. I think just overall, in between the drives, the conversations were good. I had great conversations with Carson, the receivers, Terry, talking to the offensive line. When we threw when it was the second interception, it was 2 plays in a row, just being able to talk to the guys and be like, hey, we know we can move the ball and score. No one needs to panic, 1 play at a time. And the guys responded. So the communication was really good, and I felt good about the way everything was handled.
Yeah, and any, I don't know if hesitancy is it, but after Carson throws 2 interceptions and knowing you need to go to the air again, what is the feeling as a coach with a guy who's maybe in a bit of a rough spot, having to trust him?
Honestly, though, in that situation, I wasn't worried about it. The first interception, he was a little late on the throw, left a little inside, and the second one was a freak play. I mean, we're trying to throw a screen. The guy makes an outstanding play. You just got to kind of wipe that from your mind and go. And we don't have a choice at that point. I mean, it was the 4th quarter, and we were down 8 points, so we needed to go score. So we had to do what we had to do.
I do have another one about the diamond look.
Go ahead.
One, what do you like about that? And is that something that you stole from, or like how did you kind of?
I mean, I
are
don't
there
know.
other coaches
I'm
that-
not
yeah.
the first. I'm not. Yeah, Varsity Blues is the oop-de-oop. But no, I'm not the first person that's ever. Or we're not the first team that's ever done that. So I don't know. It's an idea. It's something that we came up with just off our concepts, kind of adding a guy to it. It overloads the defense a little bit. They got to play off the departures of different guys, and it's just a little wrinkle that we like to do. It's not that big of a deal, but I guess it is. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe. Who knows? Yeah, that's.
And I haven't seen Varsity Blues, so you're correct on that.
Yeah.
With Carson, you guys threw a lot on first down. I know you've done that historically in the past, but is there something about Carson's skill set of getting him into a rhythm that you feel like throwing on first down gets him more into a rhythm?
I mean, every game's going to come out differently. If you look at Jacksonville and you look at the type of team there are and where he's from, I mean, his coaching tree, they are dead set on stopping the run. So in that case, you should be able to make some plays in the passing game. You know what I mean? I think we could have run the ball better. I feel like we will run the ball better, even against a team that is that determined. And I think we will as the season goes on. But if you want to be a good offense, you got to do both. There's going to be times that we run it more than we pass it. There's going to be times that we pass it more than we run it. Both the game, how it plays, and then also the defense, how they play is going to dictate those types of things.
How'd you feel at O-line?
I think they did a nice job. I think the line did a nice job. Same thing with every other position. There's some plays that we needed to correct, and we did. But we had multiple guys playing in there, especially at the guard spots. But I think when you only allow one sack. We had a couple of hurries, but Carson did a nice job getting the ball away. But overall, they did a nice job.
Using Curtis
I can't say that. I mean, I knew Curtis was going to be a heavy part of the game plan. Did I think he maybe was going to get that many targets? Probably not, but I wasn't surprised.
So Scott,
Did you really have a follow-up? So I don't want this to overshadow some of the other receivers, but obviously this is more like a fan thing. A lot of people love Jahan, Curtis, and Terry, and they're kind of coming up with all these nicknames. And, is there something that sticks out, like they have trifecta, Beltway Burners, Air Force 3, the Posse, Triple Threat?
I'll leave that up to you guys. I'm not. I'll leave that, or ask them. Let them name it. But no, nothing that sticks out for me. But those guys do a great job. They feed off each other. They can all run. They all have kind of different things that they do well. But I'm happy we got them. I'm glad they all three got in the end zone. So it was good.
completely off topic. So, but I asked Jack this too. But you coached with your dad for a while.
Yeah.
What were the advantages of doing that, coaching with him?
Well, my dad, when I was growing up, I always obviously looked up to him, was able to be around football, both in practices and games, which was an unbelievable experience, just being around NFL players. And then my dad and watching him work. And then I wanted to get in coaching. But when you go to college and then you start working, you're not really around your dad as much as your parents as you were growing up, obviously. So being able to live in the same city as him, work with him, learn from him, and then not only him, but my mom. And then as I got married and I was married by the time we started working together, but starting having kids and my kids being around their grandparents. I mean, it was more the personal life part of it was the best, just to be there with your dad every single day. That's not something that a lot of people get to do. And I didn't take that for granted. And then obviously he's a very accomplished coach, done an outstanding job, head coach at three different NFL franchises, offensive coordinator, won Super Bowls as an offensive coordinator. So to be able to learn from him and then be right there and watch him call plays, that was a professional advantage for me as well.
Is there any disadvantage?
Yeah, I mean, we got in arguments and stuff sometimes, which you wouldn't necessarily like to do, but we did a pretty good job of keeping it professional, not letting it carry.
What kind of arguments?
Just about plays or stuff that would happen. I mean, just typical stuff. But it just, when it's
the diamond and you did?
no, it wasn't that. But when it's your family member, you're a little closer. So maybe stuff. Everyone's gotten arguments with their parents before. At work, sometimes it happens. But there was it never carried over, and it was 99% positive. So.
Thanks, Coach.
All right, thank you guys.